Hello, I'm FBX Toycam. Welcome back to a Facecam / Storytime video. Today I'm going to be going through some more school stories, because I made one of these videos about a month ago and a lot of you asked for even more stories, so today I'll be talking about some of the things that really frustrated / annoyed me about school / my school in general, that maybe you'll be like, oh yeah, I noticed that too. And just in case anyone is watching this video and you currently are in school, let me just kind of start before I say anything else by kind of dispelling the rumor that, oh, the school times were the best time of my life. I hear people say that to me all the time, or I did when I was in school, and it's one of those things that I look back on and I'm like, no, that's not true. I've been out of school for quite a few years now, at least 3, depending on how you measure it, and let me just say, I look back at school as a job I had to go to every single day, mix of people I didn't necessarily like, I didn't get paid for it, and I did stuff I didn't like. Imagine any adult today being like, I'm going to quit this successful job I have where I do what I like, and I'm going to do community service, doing awful stuff I hate, with people I know I'm not going to get on with, and I'm not going to get paid for it. No adult does that because it's not a good idea. Adults, they're either misled or they're wrong. I don't know which it is, but I just think I've mentioned that for anything else. If anyone kind of puts the mesh in your head that, oh yeah, your school life is the best time, then it goes downhill from there. No, real life is awesome. Anyway, with that said, hopefully you do all enjoy this video about some school stories. If you do, like it and let me know, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like, the Facecam Storytime videos, or that you like, I don't know, Flareon, or that, realistically I'm just saying this because when you like the video, it increases the video's chance of being successful. Maybe that convinces you. Either way, let's get straight into it, and let's start by talking about the very first thing that annoyed me here, and it's something that I kind of realized as I went through school, because maybe everyone has this revelation, maybe they don't, maybe I'm going to sound ridiculous, but when you're younger, like 5 or 6, you don't really appreciate that teachers are people too, right? I don't know, like everyone in my life I can understand as a person, but teachers, you kind of put them in a separate space. Like, oh yeah, they're the teaching people. They don't have real lives. They're just kind of there to teach. But as it turns out, teachers are people, and this is something that I kind of had a revelation at like, let's say 11 or 12. I'm like, wow, that guy goes home and he has like a normal life to live as well as this thing he does. Anyway, the reason I'm raising that is because basically I had this teacher. I didn't personally have him, but a lot of my friends had him, and he'd randomly come into my business class. I don't know why. It's still not, I guess he speaks to the teacher. I don't know how he gets away with that. Point being, he'd randomly come into my class every now and then, so I had the impression of the guy, and I'd hear him over talking about stuff. And one of the things that really annoyed me about this guy is he was known for being a really harsh teacher. So, sort of teacher that's like, oh, you were talking in the back. Well, have a half, lunchtime detention or something. Really just heavy-handed teacher that would just always be really strict and stuff. Except when it came to the, I guess let's just refer to them as the bad kids, because I'm sure every school has this where, everyone's just trying to get along and get through this whole thing, and there are some people just breaking all the rules. So, for instance, they're always being super disruptive. They're always the kids that are, getting in fights and actually bullying people. Those sorts of people. And towards the end, always happens. Anyway, and towards the end of school, it was even stuff like, oh yeah, they were getting caught drinking or doing drugs on the playground. These sorts of people, the really awful sort, this teacher that was really heavy-handed with everyone else, would be nice to these people. He'd buddy up with them. If they got attention from someone else, he'd try and speak to that teacher and resolve it and get it removed. He'd do stuff like that for these people, as well as being lighter on them, and always talk about how they were great kids, really. And this is something that, when I, first heard it, I was like, you are just misled, sir. But then I realized later on, like, oh, this is a teacher that clearly, like, because he's not amazing, like, he's the sort of person that doesn't look like he was popular. He was clearly not very popular in school himself, and he tries to get over that by being friends with the kids now, and that is something that frustrates me to no end. Because as I look back at it, I see it more and more through a lot of teachers, where, oh yeah, they'll totally try and be friends with certain people and try and make enemies with them. I had a teacher literally make fun of me, like, oh, isn't that a crazy name? That literally happened to me just to try and, make friends of the class, whatever, and as I look back, that is such a ridiculous thing to do as a teacher. Your job is to teach and to keep people under control, not to try and, make friends with people. And just in case anyone watching this has a teacher like that, or you are a teacher, no. Tell someone maybe. I don't know what to do, sure. But yeah, with that said, that is the first thing that I look back on. I'm like, jeez, teachers abuse their role to make friends with, like, bad kids? I don't get it. Anyway, with that said though, the other type of teacher I did kind of like was the one that was like, I don't really care about my job. I'm just going to tell you stories. I'll let you do what you want. Like I said, my favorite type of teachers were the ones that let me sleep. However, the ones that didn't let me sleep were usually the detention people. So, yeah, detention's really, I mentioned this story before again, how I kind of managed to avoid detentions for a very long time because of a glitch in the system, but towards, again, it was the last year I was at that school, they realized what the glitch was, and clearly they started fixing it, and basically I had a lot of massive detentions that started to stack up. So, yeah, I went to at least one. It was like 2 or 3 maybe like 4 or 5. I don't remember how many because they will just blur into one in my head, but I went to several of these 8-hour detentions. So it was something like you get to school at like 9 p.m. at 9 a.m. and you leave at 4. I don't know what it was, but no, 9 to 5. That's what it was. It was 9 to 5 detention. They used that clever name, which now I realize is like a job. But yeah, you went to this detention, and all day you sat in a room, and you could do work if you want. Like you had to do your own stuff, or you just sat there and did nothing. So it was basically like prison, but for 8 hours. And because the only reason you get this high sentence is by accidentally missing a lot of previous detentions, or by doing awful stuff like alcohol, like drinking alcohol in school, or like for instance literally fighting on bullying kids and stuff. So I was in this place with awful, the bad kids, the ones who weren't really in school, that were just living their lives and happened to be in school at the time. And fortunately enough for me, like, I was roughly friends with these people in terms of, like, we weren't actually friends, but, like, because we knew each other and were kind of friendly back when we were, like, 10 or something, they never hated me as much as they, really be awful to certain other people. And, yeah, basically what would happen in these places is you just sit there. So, there'd be a teacher there to kind of supervise every, let's say, 5 minutes or so. They just pop in, make sure everyone's fine, then pop out again. So basically these people could do whatever they want. They talk for each other and whatnot. I didn't know them, I didn't want to talk to them, so I just sit there and be like, I guess I'm gonna get to sleep. So this is my sleeping pose. I don't know if you can see this, but like just like that. But that'd be my sleeping pose. I just sleep on my arms like this, and it was comfortable. I got a lot of sleep in school that way, but I was not allowed to do it in this detention because it's a detention, and it's like, but these people literally be gambling with each other. They'd be playing on their phones. They'd do all that sort of stuff, and you know what? Guess what? You are not allowed to. You're not allowed to sleep during this thing, and that is something that's always frustrated me. When there's like separate kind of like. I guess it's not even like separate. It's just like, oh, guess what? You're allowed to do whatever you want as long as it's not sleeping, because that's ridiculous. And yeah, basically, everything I'm getting across here is that if you let me sleep, I will like you. So that's a life lesson if you ever meet me. Let me sleep, and we'll be good people. Yeah. Anyway, with that said, the detentions 8 hours is ridiculous anyway, because you're taking me out of school. It was during a school day, by the way. They took me out of school to sit in a room, not to sleep, just to get it over with, but to sit there with these people, these mean word. Think of a mean word. That's what all these people were. And I just sat there, and at the end of the day, my brain was like at least 5%, more stupid. But hearing all of these conversations, so yeah, maybe that's why I didn't pass insert thing here. School. Maybe you shouldn't have 8 hour detentions where you sit with the degenerates. There we go. There's a nice word for them. Anyway, with that said, I like that word. I might use that more. Anyway, with that said, let's move to the next little thing here that really kind of, I guess, confused me more than anything, because basically at one point it was I must have been like 10 or 11 at the time, because for all the point I've been through school, they've always tried to jam as many subjects as they could in my timetable. So there's like 25 slots in a week, right? I think. I'm picturing my timetable right now. Yeah, 5 lessons every day, sometimes 4. It was 5 lessons every day, 5 days a week, 25 slots to have a lesson in. And you need to have, like, maths, English, and science every day, or something like that. So there's really, like, 10 slots for every other subject of, like, geography, history, all the other stuff. I can't remember subjects. Like I said, I don't want to do this stuff. I'm not going to remember it. Point B, actually, geography. Maybe you should watch your geography in Sukan, but... Staying on point here. So, yeah, basically for PE, which was a lesson, I think it was like twice a week, because, again, legal mandation, what they actually did is they kind of squeezed lots of lessons into these. So, for instance, history and geography became the same lesson. I don't understand the logic behind that. I mean, there is a lot of history in geography, and there's a tiny bit of geography in history, but it's literally like saying, we're going to take maths, and we're going to take... food education, we're going to combine that basically happened with lots of subjects. So history and geography combined, religious education and PSH. That's an English thing, isn't it? Religious education, like, I guess, sex education. Essentially, it was that and a lot more, like drug education and stuff. That became one lesson. Don't ask me how that makes sense. But also, the one that annoyed me the most is that PE, physical education, became joined with dance, and it became joined with gym. I don't know what the real distinction there is, besides dance is very separate. So there were three lessons in one, and you just randomly doing one of the 3. Again, don't ask me how this happened. But yeah, so what would actually happen is, like, there would be really, really cool stuff going on there. And, like, in gym, for instance, I know, in particular, we had like literally it was 3 times in a row because you know like I don't know why, but we had three times in a row. It was like team building, so we had to do really cool stuff together. Like guess what? Divide you into 4 groups. Those 4 groups have to do something cool. So for instance, the first one was the school benches that every school has. If you're in the UK, if you're not, I'll try and get a picture or something. Basically, you had to like put the bench going like this way up, so it's a bench like this. You have to put it that way up and have someone sitting on the top. It was like again a fun challenge for 5 people. There were loads of like team building exercises like this. There were actually really cool challenges and like there are awards and stuff and whatnot, but then that just stopped and we were like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to do dance now, and no one there enjoyed dance. No, it was less like I still don't know to this day why there is a dance class when most people are not choosing dance. Like, what they do every now and then, they'd be like, okay, guess what, you can pick between the 3. Everyone would pick one of the other 2 subjects, but they'd force you into doing it, even though dance is not like, again, I can understand like forcing people to do maths, but they would force you to do dance. Again, in the same way they'd force you to do, you did both geography and history. There's no way to decide which one. The same thing went for like food and so what you call in America woodworking and food. Same lesson, you just randomly go from one place to another. I never understood all this sort of stuff, and the point I'm trying to raise here is if you are right now in a school planning place, please do not combine like any subjects that don't make sense. I just don't get it. That's all I'm saying. I didn't get it. I didn't get any of school. I feel like what we should do here is we should just take the school system we have right now and just destroy it and then start again. Because there's so many just things that are built on like, oh yeah, well some dude just had to fit this in there, and oh there's a legal requirement for this, that I don't like it at all. If someone could send me back in time to go to school right now, I would say no. It's the same answer I'd have if someone says, hey Toycat, do you want to quit that thing you like doing every day? And do you want to pick up, litter on the side of the road? We're like, okay, well, how much are you offering? Oh, nothing. It's just for friendship and socialization. You know what I would say? I would say no. And, oh, I knocked the camera with that. Anyway, I hope you did all enjoy this little video on the internet. I enjoyed ranting and getting out there. If you did like it, like the video. If you didn't like it, you can dislike the video, though. And if you really liked it, you can share the video. Wait, is that sharing? I guess share the video if you really liked it. Subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel. And if you subscribe, it's like subscribing to a magazine here, you will see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching. This will be one of the last face cammy videos at this place, so exciting maybe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, was I looking at the camera correctly this time? I never know if I am, but yeah, goodbye.